Welcome back to Chasing Sparks with Tasha, the podcast where we stop trying to live for the highlight reel, start telling the truth about what it's really like to show up in this messy, beautiful life, learn to spot those small moments of clarity and courage, those sparks that remind us who we are. Today's episode is for anyone who's been feeling like they're stuck in a constant performance, for anyone exhausted by the curated version of their life they feel obligated to maintain. For anyone tiptoeing around their own truth because showing up fully seems like too much. This one's for you. Let's be honest, really honest. Not the I'm fine kind of honest. I mean painfully honest. The kind that makes you wince a little, but also breathe deeper because you're finally telling the truth. Because pretending, it's exhausting. And you're curating your personality to fit into rooms you don't even want to be in. That'll drain you faster than any to-do list or deadline ever could. We've gotten way too good at performance, smiling when we're unraveling, hustling for approval, nodding when we want to scream. We're so used to soft launching our truth that we've convinced ourselves that the full version of us needs to be edited for public consumption. But why? For who? Who told us we had to slowly ease into who we already are? Ask yourself the hard stuff. Who am I when no one's watching? What do I want? Not the version that sounds impressive or looks great on paper, but what do I actually crave when I stop performing for the world? What makes me feel lit up? Not just accomplished or praised, but alive. And listen, if your answer is, I don't know, that's not failure. That's honesty. That's real. The danger isn't in not knowing. The danger is pretending you do just to keep up the illusion. You don't need a 5-step plan to your most authentic self. You just need to stop lying to yourself about what's working and what's not. Here's the hard truth. Trying to make everyone else comfortable will cost you yourself every time. You'll say yes when your soul is screaming no. You'll shrink in spaces that were never meant for you. You'll stay too long in jobs, relationships, friendships, identities, because changing course feels scary or selfish or like you're letting people down. But let me ask you this. Who's letting you down when you stay stuck in a life that doesn't fit anymore? We talk about people pleasing like it's polite, like it's a virtue, but a lot of the time, it's just socially acceptable self abandonment. And we don't call it what it is because that would mean confronting all the ways we've been taught to make ourselves smaller in exchange for belonging. But here's the kicker. The people who truly love you, the ones who are meant to be in your corner, don't want the watered down version of you. They don't want your performance. They want you. They want your real laugh, your weird opinions, your awkward moments, your passion when you get fired up about something nobody else understands. That's the good stuff. That's the magic. And let's talk about fear for a second, because showing up as yourself is scary. It's vulnerable. It invites judgment. It opens you up to being misunderstood, but it also opens the door to connection, to alignment, to finally feeling like you're living a life that belongs to you. Here's the psychology of it all. We're wired to belong. Our brains are constantly scanning for signals of acceptance or rejection. And when we've experienced rejection, or even just the fear of it, we start editing. We start masking. It's self-protection. Cognitive dissonance shows up when we know something isn't working, but we keep doing it anyway. Because changing would mean rewriting the narrative we've built our lives around. That inner conflict, it's heavy, and it shows up as burnout, resentment, numbness, or feeling like you're just going through the motions. You start wondering, is this it? Not because your life is bad, but because you're not really in it. You're playing a part. That's why showing up as you, fully you, isn't just brave, it's necessary. Because no matter how convincing the performance is, your body knows when you're out of alignment. Your nervous system knows when you're pretending. And eventually, It all catches up with you. You don't need to keep waiting for the right time to start being yourself. You are the right time. This is your life, not a soft launch, not a beta version, not an endless brand strategy meeting in your head. You don't need more content. You need more connection with yourself and with the people who can meet you where you actually are. This is your invitation to stop slow dripping your authenticity, to stop waiting for perfect conditions or outside approval. This is your reminder that you don't have to be polished to be powerful. You don't need a glow up to be worthy. You don't need a plan to be present. And if you're worried about what people will think when you finally start showing up as the real you, let them think. Let them adjust. Or not. Because your job isn't to manage other people's comfort. It's to live a life that feels like yours. That's where the spark is. It's not in the flawless presentation. It's in the moment you stop performing and start participating. It's in the text you send that says, I'm not okay. It's in the job you leave, the dream you finally say out loud, the version of yourself you stop apologizing for. It's in the ordinary, real moments when you let yourself be seen. So no more soft launching your truth. No more sneaking pieces of yourself into conversations to see if they're acceptable. No more asking for permission to be whole. This is your reminder that you are allowed to exist fully, that you don't owe anyone a curated version of your life, that the most revolutionary thing you can do is show up, not as a brand, not as a character, but as you. So here's what I hope you take from today. Your life doesn't need a highlight reel. It needs honesty. It needs heart. It needs the messy, brilliant, unfinished version of you that's been waiting to breathe. And if nobody's told you this lately, you don't have to launch anything. You just have to live it. That's it for today's episode. If this spoke to you, I'd love it if you commented, subscribed, or shared this with someone who's been shrinking themselves to fit a space they've outgrown. This community is about growing into the fullest, weirdest, most wonderfully real version of yourself and cheering each other on while we do it. And as always, keep chasing those sparks. They're out there. You just have to stop pretending long enough to find them. See you next time.